Hello everyone, this is Adit back again with another video. And in this video particularly we are going to focus on the component design pattern in React. And we are going to learn about it, and what we are going to see what exactly is the component design pattern. And we will also we'll go through one example how to implement this. So let's get started now. And before we start, if you haven't subscribed the channel already, then please do consider subscribing. Now let's get started. Component pattern. What compound here means is basically we have the two separate elements, and both forms a component which are they are dependent on each other. So they form a component, and that's what we call the component. So let me show you one example. Suppose we have a select, okay, and this select displays some options, okay. So first of all, I have just created this project. This is just an empty project, and this just displays the React design pattern as of now. And what we're going to do is let me show you the first example that I am going to show is that is of a component example, and you can say, and there is another option. Let's call it Golang. Okay, so this is one of the component. And why this is the component, let me show you. Because these options that we have over here, this should be inside the select. That's how, if we put the options outside of the select, this is not going to work. So basically these two are completely dependent on each other. These two are separate element, but they form one other components. Let me show you. So this is how it looks. We have this option JavaScript and the Golang, right? So, and if we try to remove the select, we just don't want the select, and we just display the option. So this is not going to work, right? This is a completely different element. This just displays the JavaScript and the Golang as an paragraph or just a string. So this is how you can define a component. And there is another one, if you have already used Material UI or some other UI libraries, then you might have seen it already. Let me show you one that is available in the Material UI. I have used it earlier, and I find this example just see here. This one is the accordion. So in here you can see it has the code implements an accordion, but accordion has this accordion summary, accordion details. So basically the accordion summary and accordion details make sense over here only when it's wrapped inside an accordion, right? So this is also a component, and we will try to implement something similar to this as an example in this video. So let's get started now. So we will try to create an accordion, something similar, but it will have some difference. We can follow this exact pattern as well, but I'm thinking of following a different pattern. You will look into it, right? So first of all, let's just create a folder called component. We create a components. Inside the components, we are going to have accordion, and inside the accordion we are going to have index.js, and on index.js I'm just going to export the main accordion. So let me just create the accordion.js as well, or CE, and this gives us the accordion. So inside this folder we're just going to export accordion default as accordion. So great. So as of now we have just created files for the accordion, and the accordion that we are going to create will look similar to this one, that when we click on this will expand, and yeah, this will be the header part, this one, and this will be the content part. And but what different is, we are going to have accordion, something like this accordion, and inside this accordion we are just going to have a header, and we pass some header over here. And similarly we can have accordion dot content, and we will pass some content over here. And to communicate with this inner element, and to establish a connection between both of them, we will try to use the context API that is available in the React. I hope you guys already aware of the context API. So we will follow something similar to that. So now let me create a header as well. JS, and there is going to be one content.js. Okay, so let's have content, and inside the content it is going to be a child, because we are going to pass something inside this as a children. And we are also going to have a header. Inside header as well, we're just going to have children. We can style it accordingly, and we can give the user how they want to style it. We can handle those things as well. And these components will be usable components, reusable components. So basically it is completely independent of each other, and it will be reusable. And yeah, so let's just see. And if we just save it inside the accordion, so here how we are going to export it is accordion dot header, and we're just going to have header. Similarly accordion dot content, it's going to have content. Great. So this is how this is going to look. Inside the app we can just pass some value over here. Let me just pass a button. Click me, and then we're just going to have a div. Inside the div we are just going to display some content. Let's just have a load ipsum. I don't know, just can do it now. So let's just have something, just grab it from the load ipsum website. We'll just grab this one. Great. So now let's see how this is going to look. So as of now it is looking like this accordion, and so as of now this is not going to display anything on our screen, just this accordion, since we haven't passed anything inside this. So what we are going to do is like we are going to form a connection, or like how we are going to communicate with with header and the content. So to communicate with each other we are just going to form a context API. So let's just do that. Let's create a context first, const, and we're just going to have, first of all let's just have const. We are going to need this some other places as well. So const accordion context, create context, and from the accordion context we are going to grab the provider. Okay, and this provider we are going to wrap this complete everything inside this provider, and we're just going to have children over here. Great. Children. So now we have created a context, need to add some functionalities to it, right? As of now we are apt to see like we are getting this we are apt to display this content and the header as well, but we need to add the functionality, right? And to add the functionality, what we are going to do is we are going to have first of all one value, and inside the value we will also form an state is expand, set is expand, and this is going to have use state. By default it is going to be false. And over here what we are going to do is we are going to pass these values like is expand inside this provider as a value, so that we can grab this in our header accordion dot have inside the header component that we have over here, so that when we click on the header, but I don't think we need it inside the header. We will grab it inside the content. This value, like if the is expanded is true, then we are going to display the content, or else we are just going to hide it. So basically we are just going to toggle the value. So for now let's just pass the values over here. And once we do that, we need to figure out a way to like update the value of is expand. To do that, handle expand, and what we can do is we can have it is a function set is expand previous, and just going to have we're just going to toggle the value, and we are also going to pass the handle expand over here. So now if you have to say like we will have to grab the values for the is expand and the handle expand as well inside this value. And if we just go to our header over here, we are going to use context, and we're just going to import the accordion context. And now we just have to grab the values that is expand, and we are going to have the another value is handle. So we can just put it over here, and this is how it is going to look. So basically is expand is not required over here, but the handle expand is required, and we're just going to pass the on click on value on this div, since whenever the user is going to click on this div, whatever element that we pass inside it, when user is going to click on this header, this will change the value, right? So let's just have handle. I don't know why my intelligence VS Code intelligence is not working. And now we'll just this is how this is going to look, okay, the header part. And similarly we are just going to have this in the content as well. Inside the content we can have is expand, and we're just going to show if is expand is true, then we are going to return something, or we are just going to return some children value, or else just a null value, because we don't want to display if there is expanded false. So is expand, then return this, else null. And right now if we just go over here, context is defined but not important. We need to import the use context over here, and accordion context is not defined. We need to import the accordion context as well. So now here you will have to see, like when we click on the header, we have to see the content. So this is how we are going to communicate with this. And if we just try to like so this is an example of the compound component, where one component is dependent on the other, and we have followed this approach where we pass our content by using accordion.header and accordion.content. We could have just used the header instead of accordion, and that would have been a different approach. But this is how I like to create this compound component. Now it comes to a performance part. So we are going to also handle the performance over here. So to do that, So now to handle the performance over here, what we can do is like we have this callback handle is expanded. So this act as a callback. So what we are going to do is like we can use callback over here. And if you are not aware of how use callbacks work, then I would suggest you to watch some tutorial related to it, and or you can just read about it on their on reactjs official documentation. So what we're going to do is do over here is we're just going to use callback over here, and expanded, just going to have preview, and so use callback will help here to memorize the callback for any performance issue. And one more thing that we can do is like we can memorize this value, so that so here we will also wrap the values inside the use memo, so that because every time when we are every time the reference of these values is going to change, and changing the reference of this value will make our provider to re-render, right? Whatever element we pass to it will re-render, so we want to avoid this re-render. So to do that, we can use the use memo over here, and we can use something like this, use memo, and we can have is expanded, and handle is expanded, and we will pass this is expanded and handle expanded over here, and we don't need this thing. So now even if the reference of this this changes, this is expanded and handle is expanded changes, but if the value is same, then still we can avoid the re-rendering won't happen over here. So this is how we can increase the performance of our accordion component, and this will still work the completely same. You won't be able to see much difference over here, that's for sure. And apart from this, one more thing that we can do is like whenever we have an accordion, like, and we are making it a reusable component, so while implementing, user expects us to give us a callback when some like is expanded is true, right? Then we want to trigger something, and there we like we will need a callback, like to know how to execute some function when our accordion is expanded. So in that case, we will provide a callback to the user as well. So to do that, what we can do is so when our state changes, we want to provide the callback to to run some functions, right? I think it will be easy for me to implement it and then explain it to you. So what we are going to do is like inside the accordion, inside the app.js, we can have one callback is expand, and we are just going to have a callback over here, const. So this so this props this callback is going to give us something when our state changes, right? And we're just going to pass some value like over here, like is expanded is true or false, right? To do that, and we can have expand over here. That will be completely fine, I think. So like this is handle expand. This should not be a handle expand, but it could be something else. Like it is not exactly handling the expand, but it is giving us a callback which is going to trigger when our state changes, right? So we can say it like do something, and we're just going to pass do something over here, like and this is going to give us the expand. We're just going to console log the expanded. Okay, so now what we're going to do is like inside the accordion, we're going to accept this on expand, and we will try to give a callback. As of now, it is not going to do anything. So to implement that, one way that we can do is we can use use effect, and inside the use effect, what inside the dependency array, we are going to have is expanded. So basically, whenever the value of is expanded is true or false, then it is going to trigger, right? Something like this, use effect, and just going to have over here, and is expanded, and we can have this props over here. Not like this, but this way. Or we could have on expand as well, that we have defined over here, which is on expand. I think I can just grab this over here, on expand, and whenever the is expand value is going to change, we are going to trigger this on expand, and we're just going to pass the is expand inside it. So this way we will, whenever our state change, we are going to give a callback to the user. So whenever someone is going to implement this accordion, they will get to know that this accordion is open, and we need to do something after this accordion is open, or make a API call or something like that to fetch the data, right? So this is what we can do, and inside the accordion. But there are some problems inside in this way, using use effect. So basically, use effect is going to trigger every time when the component is re-rendered or component so initially it is going to trigger, and at that time we exactly don't want that to happen, since user haven't clicked or anything, just component mounts, and this is going to trigger. So we need to find a way to avoid that. What we can do is we can use one use ref, and we'll check that if the component is mounted at the first time. We will try to avoid the callback being called at the first time. So to do that, we can have const is component mounted, and we're just going to have const is component mounted, and it is going to have use ref, and by default it is going to true. And now if is component mounted dot current is equal to false, like this is going to true at the first time, and we will update the value to is component mounted dot current to false over here. So basically, when the component is going to mount first time, this will update the value to false, and if this is false, only then we will trigger this on expanded inside this, so that like on our callbacks are only going to hit when we are going to like when user is going to click on our expanded, else it is just going to pass and update this value only. So this is how we can pass the pass this callback over here and get some performance. So this is how we can create an accordion, and which has a compound component, and we have also performed some performance issue, like handle some performance issue, and we did handle the callbacks on state change. So this is how you can implement it, and if you just go over here, instead that and it will work completely fine. Like, and we have like used use memo to memorize the values, and use callback to handle the callbacks, and edit some performance benefits over here. So this is how you can implement the compound component in React. And that's it for this video. And if you like the video, consider subscribing, and in the later videos we will discuss about some other design patterns as well. So if you like the video, consider subscribing, and thank you for watching.